Well, hello there again, friends. Today is 3/26/2022, and today is the Odin Project Vlog Day 79. Today I am starting on number 4. We skipped number 3 because the create button is inside of the last card, which we've not developed yet. So we're just working on form card today, and the goal is to get the form to respond with CSS the way that we want it to. That's where I left off last time. So let's get started. So the inputs by default have a very light border, pound E5, E7, EB, but we're including two variations. For starters, the password input should be given an error class. So in my previous video, I had very square boxes here, and you see theirs has a little bit of a rounding edge on it. Not much, but just a little bit. And so I wanted it to mimic more of that style. So if you remember correctly, remember from an old video that I talked about styling buttons, we were trying to make the button curved as well. So this is just a text box, but still the same difference. So what I did was I applied a border radius of 5 pixels onto all inputs and all labels, which it's going to disregard that for label, obviously, because label is not a box, but the input is. So what it does is that border radius 5 pixels adds that just little bit of curve that we want in our box. So that's what that does. And then the next requirement, the first requirement after that is we want a light border of that E5, E7, EB. So what I did was I came down here into I don't believe I had this in the last video, so I created an input, another input, just input, since I didn't want it to be affected to affect label. I just created an input selector, and I put border color in that E5, E7, EB from the requirements text, and that that puts that border color of that kind of a grayish color, off-white, around the border. So let me show you what that looks like on my form. So that's this kind of bezel here, that grayish of it. That's where that's coming from. And then there's your roundedness from the border radius declaration. And next thing we have is we want to talk about, this is going to be a little bit of a discussion. Password input should be given an error class. So I didn't know exactly what that meant. I thought maybe it's just because I've been sick, and I hadn't studied probably error class. I hadn't studied pseudo classes in a couple weeks now because I'd been ill and I'm just getting back into the swing of things. So I hit Google pretty early here on this, and I could not find a thing. And I tried a lot of different variations of pseudo classes and different things with the HTML, and I couldn't come up with anything. So this is an example where don't be afraid to go to Discord if you need it. That's why they're there. So I went to the Discord group and I typed in my issue that I was having on this particular part and just gave screenshots of what I had in the code and said, here's what I'm trying to do. And basically, long story short, I was told I was overthinking it and that this is more for future not future proofing, but basically down the road in the course we're going to do JavaScript form validation, but since we haven't learned that yet, we aren't really expected to do that. So he said, in the guy who was helping me in the chat said, just create an error class and hard code it in for now, and then you'll learn how to do it in JavaScript down the road where it'll do it by DOM manipulation. And I was like, oh, okay. And he even said I was overthinking it. So yeah, so that's really all it's asking you. It could be worded a little bit differently probably, but you're just creating an error class. So what I did was I went over here and I commented it. So if we come to this in the future, in say top down the road when we do form validation, they have us come back to this exercise. I will remember this because I put comments in. So I put a comment. Added in error class manually as per Discord guidance. We'll use JS form validation down the road when it's taught. So all it is really, it's simple, is I just put a class. I added a class attribute to the input tag there, and then I also added a class attribute to the p tag here for passwords do not match, and you'll see why I did this in a second. And then I did not put the, I need to add this comment to here because I also put class error here as well in the confirm password. So I need to add that right there. Save all. Cool. So there it is. And then over here, what happened was I put the same exact comments so I could remember for later. So it comes over here and it's got a error selector and its border color is red and its border width is 1 pixel, and we'll go over this in a second. And the error message is color, font size, and margin. So this isn't anything too spectacular. So all this does is creates the border color red and a width of 1 pixel. So it gets you to what you see here. So there's a password here, password box. Now you see how it kind of selects it with a light blue background. That again, like I mentioned in the last video, that is that actually is my browser doing that automatically. But if you notice really faintly, you'll see the box shadow here. We'll go over in a minute, but you'll see there's another blue line in there, and that's actually the next requirement we'll go over. But anyway, the big blue one, the thicker blue line you see is not anything I did. It's just browser. But anyway, I'm tangenting myself. So the password and confirm password says, so here's how you got the red, the border. So the border color red and the border width is 1 pixel, meaning it's only 1 pixel in width. And then same thing for confirm password. And then because both of these are an error class, as I stated earlier, so you have the error class listed here and error class listed there. And then the error message is simply we're going to color the font red. Font size is 12 pixels. So we want it to be smaller than the rest of the form so that it looks nice. And margin 0. So we zero out the margin because by default a paragraph tag has margin on all sides. So we remove that. And that's what this is right here. And that allows it to hug up against the password text box, which also matches up what we have here. Pretty close. I mean, it's not perfect, but I'm not looking for perfection. So, and yeah, so that's what that does. So that satisfies this here. And then number 5, the other variation is the selected input, which should have a blue border and a subtle box shadow. This can be done with the focus pseudo class you've learned about in earlier lessons. So I vaguely remember this again. Unfortunately, it's been a couple weeks for me, and I studied this before I got ill, and then I was sick, and I kind of forgot some of this, so I had to do a little bit of Googling. But this one was very easy compared to number 4, getting hung up on the error class. But so basically, to complete that one, number 5, at the focus, we come up here to, okay, so this is all just CSS basically. So we've already been over the input, and then we come down here to input focus. So if you remember, focus is when you click inside the box. So focus is the action of clicking inside the text box. That's focus. So when we do that, we want the border color to be blue, which that's the just like here, that's going to be the outer outline of the current text box, and we want the border width to be 1 pixel, which we kind of already went over here in the error message. That's just to be 1 pixel in width, in size of that border. And then we have a box shadow, which we went over this a long time ago. I don't know if it was in a video, but we learned about it. I remember reading about it anyhow. And so I had to Google this one real quick because I couldn't remember the inputs. So basically, this is your first number, I believe, is your right, and then I think the second one's your bottom. Let me make sure I said that correctly. Did I get rid of that tab that I had open? I did. So I apologize. I meant I have it correct, but basically one is your width and one is your length of the shadow, and then your third value is your color that you want the shadow to be. And so I just used RGB. I just picked it, one that kind of looked like what they had in their requirements, kind of like a subtle gray, not overpowering. But so that goes ahead and gives you this right here. So when you click on it, see how the focus. So we have the blue border there. Not the. It's hard to see on this probably, but let me see if I can zoom in a little bit just to help you out. So ignore the. It's hard to see, but ignore the lighter blue thicker line. That's my browser. That's just Firefox doing its thing, because it's integrated into the browser, because it's wanting you to know, hey, here's your selected focus. But my focus line is that little bitty blue one that's you can't really see. So that's the border radius and the border width, the pixels, 1 pixel. And then here, if you see below very faintly, that is the box shadow. So it's a darker gray, just kind of a cool little visual feature. When you're focused on that particular box. And so 5 pixels by 5 pixels, so that's not the length, it's the width. So that 5 pixels and 5 pixels is the width of the length and the height. So you see how it's the same. In fact, we can just find out right now. Let's change this to 10. So we're going to change the first one to 10 and see what it does. Okay. There you go. So the first one is the width of the height, and the second number is the width of the length. So I hope that made sense. Save that back out so it looks good. And I got live server running, so I don't no longer have to refresh the page. It automatically refreshes for me. So that is that it? Box shadow, blue border, yeah. So that's all for this video. So yeah, hope you're enjoyed coming along for the ride today and learned a little bit along the way. Please like, share, and subscribe, and let me know in the comments how you guys are doing on this exercise and how you're coming about. We're almost finished with it. I've got, as you can zoom out here. As you can see, I've got that last card to build out. So next video we'll be building out that last card and adding in the button and the text and the login link, and that'll be pretty much it. So just tying up some loose ends, and that'll end the project. So like, share, and subscribe for more content. And with all that said, till next time, see ya.